Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Sunday Club. I am so glad I'm able to do this week. I have still got little context, I have still got a bad leg, I've got a cast on, but I wanted to do this, so it means I might not be on for too long tonight, but let's see, because the other reason why I want to do it is because there is so much to discuss. So much has happened over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Instead of the agenda that I usually put up on the side here, I've just stuck it on the ticker below. So we're going to go through everything on the ticker, have a read as it's coming through. But good evening, everybody. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning person, welcome back. It's great to have you with us. And for those that are new, again, this is a channel dedicated to the England national team. So welcome. So who have we got on chat? You know me, I like to get straight to chat. War Lion, great mate, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Dylan, good to see you. Gauki, sorry if I don't pronounce it very well. Hello. Bohemian, great to have you on. Matt's channel, Charlie, all regulars, great to have you with me this evening. Hope you're all doing okay. Hope you've all had a good summer. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Hope you all got the exam results you wanted as well. For those of you that were sitting exams in England or wherever you were, I know a lot of people over the world actually were getting their exam results. So hope you've all got what you wanted. Good moustache, thank you. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I've grown. I do need a bit of a shave. It's just quite difficult at the minute. But yes, great to have you all with us. Goki, nice to see you too, Gareth. Goki, okay, brilliant. Thank you for letting me know. E, great to have you with us. So tonight, we're looking ahead. Now, I don't know if you've seen my community posts today. I will be finally putting out another regular video on Tuesday night. It's going to be my first one since Gareth Southgate announced his retirement. So I have had a good solid month off. I've done a couple of live streams in between, but building up to these first games now for England post UEFA Euro final loss. England are back in action. The first international break is upon us. So it's England versus Ireland. We're going to be discussing that, but not in too much detail because I do want to save some of it for that video, because I also want to save some of tonight for the other topics of conversation that we have. Looking at the bottom now, so I'm tilting my head left and right. Trippier retires from England duty. Let's discuss how that leaves England at right back. Lee Carsley's first game in charge as well. What are we going to expect? The UEFA Nations League, what are our ambitions? Do we want to win this? Do we see it as a Mickey Mouse tournament? England versus Ireland, obviously. We will also discuss Lee Carsley's first squad. So obviously I haven't put a video out for the squad, so we'll discuss it tonight. We will have a look at that exciting squad tonight. And England's Player of the Year, that is currently open for voting. Now, I did go online to actually vote. I don't know if it's actually ended, but I did go on today to vote on the FA's website, and you can't. Something's gone wrong. It wasn't working. But we're going to discuss that. And of course, we need to make 5 minutes, and I'll probably start with this actually, in regards to Sven-Göran Eriksson. Of course, sadly lost his life this past week. England manager through a big period of my life, supporting and following England. England's first foreign manager, of course. And it was a sad loss. It was a hugely sad loss. Obviously not unexpected for those of you that were up to date with Sven and what was going off with him, and obviously his condition he had, and just foot cancer. So put that out there now. We all know people who suffered with it, and Sven sadly passed away. So I just want to pay my respects to Sven-Göran Eriksson for his time with England. Some memorable times. It was when we were the quarter final generation and the golden generation. Sven had the golden generation, and he is a sad miss, and it is the end of a sad era for these England fans. And I look back on those times with Sven with very fond memories. Some great results, particularly Argentina at the World Cup, that Beckham free kick, the Germany game. There's just so many happy memories with Sven. Oh, not quite as many with Gareth, but Sven, great manager. Arguably the second best manager England's had in my time as an England fan. So thank you, Sven, and rest in peace, mate. Okay, now that that's out of the way as well, the other things we're going to discuss is the transfer market. The transfer market is coming towards an end, but there's been a lot of interesting moves from an England perspective. So let's take a look at those tonight as well. So, A lot to discuss. And I don't know how long I'm going to do because the blood is currently rushing to my foot right now and I'm in a lot of pain. But I'll do my best. We'll try and whip through it. I want to be here an hour. Usually I'm here an hour, but let's see how we get on. Let's have a look. I'm just going to go to the chat, see who else has come on since I've been babbling on. Evening, Gary from Gate 102 podcast. Really sad news about Sven. I loved his final message. Great to have you with us, Gate 102 podcast. Check Gate 102 podcast out, everybody, on Twitter and obviously his podcast. Hence, he's on the tin. Let me just get it up here, Gate 102, to make sure I'm telling people the right information. But it's a podcast, guys, for the England national team, but a very niche podcast, and I think it's a great idea. And it's a podcast. This is his words, not mine. A podcast discussing and analysing the 102 games Gareth Southgate managed for England, hosted by Chaz Tidy08. You'll find him on Twitter at Gate102pod. Check him out. I think that's a really cool idea. So great to have you with me, mate. Yeah, brilliant idea. Wish you all the best of luck. War Lion, rest in peace. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Captain Falcon, why do I feel like England will win 1-0? Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're on about the Ireland game. We'll come on to that in a second. Yeah, 5-1 against Germany. Thanks, Sven. Yeah, it was quality night, wasn't it? It's the anniversary of that, isn't it? I'm sure I've seen something somewhere. It is the anniversary of that night. Argentina 2, England 3 was good. Yeah, I mean, that was a friendly. What a night that was with Michael Owen with that classic last-minute goal with the head. Rest in peace, Sven. Too young to remember him, but seemed like a decent guy. He was, mate. He really was. He was a bit of a gentleman. Very similar to Southgate in that respect, but yeah, big miss. Gate 102, thanks for the shout, mate. Appreciate it. No, thank you, mate. More England content out there, the better. This is a niche market, and we need as many people behind it as possible. And I will be enjoying your podcast, mate, because I started this channel because there's not a lot out there for the England national team. So yeah, great to have you on board with this little community, if you like. So let's get straight into it. So we've done Sven. We've discussed Sven, so rest in peace. The transfer market, and I'm going to discuss that because it's coming up at the bottom now. We've got some moves, haven't we? We've got Jadon Sancho, Raheem Sterling, who look like he's also going to, where's he going? Arsenal. It keeps changing. Ramsdale's moved. Ivan Toney, I think, sold himself out a bit here. His England career's done, isn't it? It's completely done. I think he had some years left in him. We all know why he's gone there. Let's be real. He's gone to Saudi Arabia, for those of you that don't know. But Ivan Toney, he's done. He's done for England, absolutely. But some of these England moves, I think Raheem Sterling, that move needs to go through. Let's see him go. It hasn't worked at Chelsea, has it? For whatever reason, it just has not worked. Same with the Jadon Sancho move. I think that can only be a good thing for England. Solanke, I mean, at Spurs, I mean, that's an interesting move. It's going to be, there's a few players there who you think, can it now reignite their career? Same as Aaron Ramsdale. I think it's a good chance now for him to potentially really push Jordan Pickford for that starting position, because I do think he's England's second best goalkeeper. So there's a lot. There's a few interesting moves there. Eriksson was the worst manager when it came to penalty shootouts. Was a decent manager, says Pagani. He's going back to the chat. But yeah, there's some interesting moves that I think are either now going to be a positive of England. I think the important thing is no big players, no starting players for England have made any big moves this summer. That seemed to happen last summer with Bellingham, of course, and Kane, obviously. But the core starting 11, if you like, for England seems to be staying where it is. I don't know what's happening with Mark Gahey. It's been reported he's going to Newcastle. Whether that will actually happen or not, I don't know. You know what it's like in the transfer market. There'll always be a big rush through at the end. The Match Channel throwback when you went on Three Lines podcast to read text from Sven's book. Bo voiced him. Speaking of Three Lines podcast as well, big shout out to Russell. I'll be on his podcast tomorrow night, and I think he's thinking about releasing it Tuesday or Wednesday, but we'll be discussing the transfer markets as well. So if you want a more in-depth discussion about this, me and Russell will be discussing this tomorrow. Tomorrow, and it'll be out this week, so please catch up on that. But does anybody feel, what's everybody's thoughts on these transfers? Do we feel like one's a really good move, or do we feel like it's players not particularly as good as what we thought they were, almost looking for that dream move that isn't going to work out for them? I feel there's a little bit of that going off. Sancho move's interesting because he seemed to have a good seemed to have a good season at Dortmund, didn't he? From all the pressure he had, and he's clearly a good player, but obviously they couldn't afford him for whatever reason, and now now he's made that move. I think it could potentially be a really, really big move for him, and I do want him to see him do well. I really do. The transfer window is shut, so he can't go now unless I've missed something. Has it actually shut? Okay, then that's fine. I missed that. I usually do a deadline day. I missed it in all my injuries. I've lost track of the time. I mean, yeah, it's shut. If it's shut, it's shut. But I think it's been an interesting transfer market, to say the least. I was half expecting someone like I don't know. The Tony one caught me off guard. The Tony one really, really caught me off guard. I was half expecting Harry Maguire to move as well, and I sort of wanted him to move to reignite his career. Sort of wanted that to happen. I don't know really from an England perspective, is anyone else? I mean, all the players that you want to be, most of them are playing at the clubs now. Palmer has obviously needs to cement himself. Rashford has obviously something Begani just put on. I think I'd have liked to have seen him move to try and reignite his career, a bit like what Sancho and Sterling are trying to do. So there's a couple there from an England perspective I'd have liked to have seen more of. But look, it is what it is. I don't think Rashford's done from an England perspective. His attitude's right on the wall. It's been there a number of years now. I don't think he's going to do it, really. Gate 102, the goalkeeper department is in a much better place with Ramsdale and Johnston moving in the hope of regular football. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's what we need because, yeah, we were struggling, weren't we? Going into the summer, everyone had three different goalkeepers. Everyone had Pickford, but then the other two goalkeepers, everybody had different. There was nobody really coming through. The Ramsdale move would be interesting. We're going to see how much of a good goalkeeper he is now as well. And Johnston, to be fair. Matt's channel, I'm no Arteta fan, but he revitalised Havertz and he's worked with Sterling, so we could get him back on track. Yeah, potentially. So glad Carsley'S dropped Walker. I hated to scapegoat players, but if we had players Konza over him, we'd have probably won the Euros. So we'll come on to that, actually, the squad, because it does lend quite nicely into this, because the squad Carsley'S picked for these games against Ireland and Finland, what a squad. What an interesting squad. And it clearly bleeds into his time in charge of the under-21s. There's some players there that he really wants to have a look at a senior level, and he's been brave to call up. And some players that Southgate really wasn't even looking at. So we'll have a look at it in a second. I'll just go through the chat. I reckon Tony will be back in the Premier League in a year, perhaps on loan, maybe, but the money's the money in it, mate. Begani, Rashford should move clubs so that he can get his form back. Absolutely agree. Bohemian, I think it's over for Rashford. Yeah, absolutely agree. Don't know what to say about Trippier's retirement. Kieran Trippier's retirement. I mean, Walker being dropped, Trippier not in this, now retired. I think it's right. I think that right back now needs a shake up. It definitely needs a shake up, and there's players there now. Reece James ain't going to be it neither. And this is where I think Lee Carsley's now got a big job. There's some players in this England squad that still need to be settled down. And I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to force those young players through because we need them to come through now. It is, with the end of Southgate, it does feel like a new generation. It's a new generation of players. We'll look back on your Maguires, your Kanes, your Walkers, all these sorts of players as a specific generation, and I think the new generation is starting to come through now. Yeah, you're right. Rashford needs to move to revitalise. He's still in 25. He should come good again. I'd keep them long term. Trafford or Ramsdale are the best, but I'm surprised Carsley didn't call up Trafford actually for the work he did for him at under 21 levels. I'm really surprised he didn't actually pick him in this next squad. Let me get the squad up. I keep talking about the squad. I have obviously got it prepared so we can have a look. Where is it? Hang on, or have I got it up? Let me have a look. No, maybe I haven't. Let me get the squad loaded up, everyone, and then we can all take a look. I mean, the squad is probably the most exciting and the most surprising in a long time. It really, really is. So there we go. There's the squad. Sorry, I had to have a move around. So I'm gonna have to have a look and zoom in here. So we've got Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, Trent, Cowill, Gahey, Konza, Livramento, Lewis, Rico Lewis, Harry Maguire, John Stones, Phil Foden, Gallagher, Gomez, who's great shout. Oh, hang on, I'm cut off. Kobe Mainu, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, Gibbs White, great shout. Jared Bowen, Eze, Gordon, Grealish coming back in after his omission, Harry Kane, Madueke, who is one of the players who really did it for Carsley at youth level, Saka and Ollie Watkins. What an exciting squad that is. Very young, very attacking, very fast, a lot of pace in there. I think that's a brilliant shout. I mean, the players I was talking about that weren't even really in with a look in under Southgate is Livramento. Rico Lewis didn't really get a shout. Who else we got? Gomez didn't really get a shout under Southgate. Gibbs White neither, and Madueke. So all of those, I mean, you could argue even Eze as well for that shout. So, yeah, interesting. Wharton in the 21s, yeah. I mean, yeah, interesting actually, how Wharton, I mean, that's one player who seems to have a different perspective from Southgate. You'd have thought he'd have come straight back in for a look in that central midfield area, but maybe not. You know, he's looking at different players there. Trent right back and Rico Lewis left back, says M0. The Match channel says, I'm thankful for Trippier, even though for his role the last Euros was weird. He's done a right job. Let's just put that to bed. He has 100% been a fantastic servant for England, and he'll go down as a bit of a legend in my eyes. Really good player. Spain would have slaughtered us with Ramsdale in goal. Yeah, no, I agree. Same thing was happening with him under Southgate. Bench life. Surprised no Wharton, but Palace fan told me he might be injured. Yeah, there's always... I mean, this is the problem. There's always... You never know, do you, fully what the situation is on them. He is on the 21s, but is he carrying or not? Will he play those four guys? I don't know. I don't know, but this is the beauty of recruiting within. Lee Carsley already knows every single one of these players. There's not a transition period now where you've got a manager trying to figure out who's playing where, who's his best around the camp, what system's the best to play. It's all there. This works, trust me. Recruiting internally works, and I think this is going to be a success for England. I really do. It's not a fashionable appointment, but I'm going on to the fact that he knows now it's all there. And whoever's replaced Lee Carsley in 21 or will replace him permanently, that's all there. It's a transition, the way it should be. The players know them as well. It's just, this is the way. This is the way forward. This Island game now isn't a new coach coming in trying to get the feelers around. This is almost Southgate -2. You know, Southgate 1.2. It's the same philosophy, the same style. I'm hoping it's the same characters. They're gonna know these players, and the players know the manager. So it's much more of a cohesive dressing room right off the bat. Gomez is the most interesting pick for sure. David Silva as a 6 in terms of profile. Well, let's see what he can do. I have no complaints with the squad, but I would have included Mitchell and maybe Euros winning right back Gardner. The thing is, if Southgate would have picked this squad, it'd have been absolutely torn to pieces a little bit. Let's be real, it would have been torn to pieces. I think Maguire's probably one of the most interesting picks that he's still in there. Obviously, there's no John Stones. Gahey was easily probably England's best player at the Euros, and this is why when we're going to look at discussing player of the year, I want you to bear him in mind, because I have a preference of who that should be. Saka has been the England player for the past 2 years, I believe, and he's in with a shout, but Mark Gahey at the Euros was quality. So I think inadvertently, through injuries at the Euros, we've solved one of our problems at centre-back, which is who's replacing Maguire and Stones when either of them two aren't there, or they're injured or not playing well. Mark Gahey is definitely one of those players. In fact, I would put him in almost first now. Bro, you know we live in a capitalist world when a lineup is sponsored. Actual team seems decent from what I can tell. Yeah, I know, mate. You're right, actually. Decent score, says Nuzzer Bohemian. Be interested if you can get something out of Colwill. Yeah, I'd like to see more Colwill. I'll be honest with you, I've not seen a lot of him. I've not seen a lot of him at all. Bohemian worked for Spain and Argentina. I'm assuming that's meaning the transition of the managers. Absolutely it did. Finally, Trenty, Benty, Alexander-Arnold at right back. Gate 102, Livramento can also play at left back as well as right back, so sounds like a good replacement for Trippier. Yeah, and that's it. Look, both full-back areas now need young players coming through. Interestingly, I've just picked this out, actually. Look at where Trent Alexander-Arnold is within that squad. Look at where he's placed. He's placed as a defender. in the official release. Now, I'm pretty sure, I may be wrong here, I am pretty sure in the past he's come in as a midfielder. The fact that he's listed as a defender on here could tell us a lot. I'm pretty sure he's not been in as a defender under Gareth Southgate. I know he's not played him as a defender, but I'm sure he's not even been listed as a defender. So that's really interesting. Grealish is back in, I see. Yeah, I mean, he needs to do more, doesn't he? He needs to do a hell of a lot more. Obviously, there is no Foden, is there? I've not missed him. No, there's no Phil Foden. I think Foden, Grealish, surely they need to do more for England. Simple as that. Foden, again, didn't really... It's his time at the Euros, just didn't do it, did he? Not really. Josh... Oh, hang on. Margate is also my player of the year, says Gate 102. Yes, mate, absolutely agree, but we'll have a look at some of those in a minute because I put some suggestions down on the ticker. But let's have a look at those in a second. I wouldn't say Gay, but he was one of the best at the Euros, says Match Channel. Josh Phillips, hi Gary, been a while since I've been able to catch you live. Only just seen about how you doing. Good, thank you, mate. Yeah, good. I've just long journey. It means making videos and stuff has been a bit of a pain in the arse, but great to be on. CFFM should do an England's worst player of the year as well as for memes. Yeah, well, you know what? I've thought on this channel, did we do each Sunday like a little bit of a game show or a quiz, something like that? I want to get you guys more involved and something that's a bit more interactive and fun. So let me know some comments and thoughts, but I want to do something with you guys, whether it's a quiz, whether it's just some sort of weird game show. I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box to make this live stream even more fun, entertainment and engaging for everybody. So yeah, maybe that's one of the ideas we have. Glad to hear you're feeling positive about the future of the team, Gary. Absolutely, Tom. I am, mate. I am. I mean, the one thing, growing up in the late before Gareth, let me get my words out, before Gareth, a long time, 10, 20 years, there was all talk about England not producing enough players, the Premier League's full of foreign players. There is no doubt now England produce an abundance of top talent. It's just about getting them all in to fit and getting them all to progress in senior level. That is the problem. There's no doubt England produce top players now. Encore football, no left-footed fullback. What's going on with Tyreek Mitchell? I'm not sure, actually. I mean, a left footer full stop is something we could do with, whether it's left back or left wing or anything. This is an unpopular opinion. I get why people rate him as he did better than expected, but not sure if Gay is the answer. Lost his man for Slovakia's goal and one of the Spain's. Yeah, but there was no end of times when he saved us. I mean, we were shit. We were so poor at the Euros. I can't believe we got to a final. I've never known the Euros like it. We were so bad. And I think I just remember Gay being a bit of a standout. He wasn't flawless, but nobody bloody was. And I think when you look back at England's year, yes, we've reached the Euros final. We haven't played that well all year. All calendar year, England haven't played well. We really haven't. We've had a couple of good games in Scotland. We had a good game in Scotland and few pockets of good performances, but overall, we didn't have a great 12 months. We really didn't. Yes, Southgate listed Trent as a midfielder, says Bohemian. Great. I did think that. I just clocked it then when we was looking back at that. Josh Phillips, yes, Carsley said in his press conference that Trent will be at right back. Okay, Carsley has said Trent is at right back in the press conference, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't trust him as right back, so if he does, fine, but I mean, he's got to give him a go, hasn't he? When was Trent last played at right back for England? Let's give him a go. I voted Pickford Player of the Year, says Tom. Yeah, I can see that. I can 100% see that. Encore football, I hope Carsley doesn't concoct a weird experiment. No, absolutely. And this is the thing, Trent right back. I mean, Gareth Southgate did not 100% trust Trent at right back. And I don't think a lot of fans do, and a lot of fans don't. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as what people make out defensively, but we're not strong at the back as it is. There's not many leaders there. Not confident on Trent playing right back, to be honest. Dylan Foden is there, just listed as a midfielder. Is he actually there? Did I miss him? Of course he is. Yeah, he is there. He's there. He just needs to do more, doesn't he? He does need to do more. Sorry, the writing on the squad. I'm trying to remember all the squad players. On my screen, the writing is so small. So yeah, it is interesting looking at where he's actually put some of these players. Foden as a midfielder, Trent as a defender. They're all in slightly different positions, aren't they, than where they were under Gareth Southgate. So who knows? Who knows what system he's going to play? I hope he sort of keeps it the same. I don't know, though. It looks like he might not be. Hope your ankle operating okay. Thanks, Encore. It went very well, thank you. That quid idea seems fun. Brilliant. Yeah, I might have a look at that. Might definitely have a look at doing as a little quiz. Trent will be fine against these teams, but I wouldn't want him playing at right back against a stronger team. And that's the problem, Matt's channel. You've hit the nail on the head. We're in League B. We are in League B, aren't we? Against Finland and Republic of Ireland. So we want to be in League A because we don't want to be playing these games, putting Trent at right back and other players in different positions and not actually realising, can these guys actually do it against the big boys? This is why we want to be in League A. We want to be in League A. We need to win this group. And we should win this group. Simple as that. We should win this group. Foden got up to his big... got to up his game big time for England. A lot of them have, mate. Apart from Saka, I've said this before the Euros, apart from Saka, there's not enough goals coming from that midfield area, from any attacking options, really. Apart from Saka, there needs to be more. Palmer maybe could be that solution. Watching England this year's Euros were like 02 World Cup in Euro 2012. Mason Greenwood gone to Jamaica. Yeah, good riddance, mate. We don't need him. Well, in fact, I'm not even joking. We do not need him. And I don't want him. Matt's channel, Pickford, Mainu, Stones, Gahey in that order for Player of the Year for England. Interesting pick. A lot of international teams lacking form recently. To be honest, well, yeah, everyone's been shit, weren't they? Everyone was crap apart from Spain at the Euros. I mean, they were the deserved winners, as begrudgingly as that is to say. As a Liverpool, I'm assuming that means fan, as a Liverpool fan, or trusting Trent at right back. I'm assuming you mean as a Liverpool fan, okay? But that's fine. I mean, it's great. I mean, I hope he does do it, but I think in the past he has been found out. Trent is at his best as an 8, I reckon. All right. I'll be honest with you, I don't think he fits in England squads at all. Still got to win the group against teams like the same level as Slovakia, Slovenia. You could say apart from Parma too. If Sterling does well for Arsenal, he could be a good sub option for England again. Yeah, a bit of pace, and I think that's what we did lacked a bit of pace, and that's what Ollie Watkins brought on and caused all sorts of problems at the Euros and was a highlight. I think pace is an important thing here we don't want to miss. Euro 2024 was a really poor tournament. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But we got to a final. God, I can't believe we didn't win it. Not as a starter. So, player of the year. I mean, I'm putting Mark Gahey out there. I am putting Mark Gahey because he came out of nowhere. He did a job, the best job, arguably out of a bad bunch at the Euros. Not played before. Played every game at the Euros. Yes, there was the odd thing there, but I just think he was brilliant. To be fair, Saka did have a good Euros as well. He was all right, wasn't he? He was all right. Scored important goals. Looked a threat. In fact, probably looked the biggest threat outside of most players. I think personally it's between those two. Pickford, maybe. I think there was a couple of times at the Euros where I think we were wanting a little bit with Pickford. I still think he's by far England's best keeper. But for me, I just think you can't... Look at where Gahey come from. He'd never... Had he started a competitive game for England before the Euros? I'm not sure he had. Or if he had, it would only been 1 or 2. But he's just... I remember going into that Euros thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've got Mark Gahey and John Stones at centre-back. And it was brilliant. He really was, really. It was fantastic. I mean, Mainoo is the one I haven't mentioned. I think if he'd have played more games at the Euros and more time, and I know he came into the tournament the more it went on, but I think if he'd have played more of them and made more of an impact, so many others, I think Gahey was more important. Bellingham, I think Bellingham would have got it if he'd have had a good Euros, but he was shit. I know he scored that overhead kick, I know. And in the first game, I know he was brilliant. But after that, Jesus Christ, he just went missing. Absolutely went missing. So I wouldn't want to give it Bellingham. Palmer looked a decent threat, says Nozzer. The match channel, Mainoo and Gahey were big risers. Yeah, they're the biggest risers this year. I think if you had a big rise prize, definitely those two. Definitely the two that have come onto the scene for England this year. Palmer probably just about the third player pushing up there. Bellingham will probably win just because of his PR and the fact he plays for Madrid. Yeah, but he shouldn't do, should he, mate? I mean, he was on course to win it, and it looked like that opening game at the Euros. You thought, oh my God, this is Bellingham's tournament. He's going to absolutely beast it. We're going to win the Euros. Happy days, it's coming home. And then he just vanished. He just vanished, including the game where he scored the overhead kick. I mean, it was a brilliant goal. He just didn't do enough for me at the Euros. Did not do enough. And that's what I think matters. You know, doing it in games when it really matters and you needed. And I think Gahey did that more than probably any other player, maybe than Saka at the Euros. I'd say Man United in his first competitive cap was in the Euros, and he solved our midfield problem by himself, by and large. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we were struggling, weren't we, to find out who was going to play there, and he finally brought him in. Yeah, the Slovakia bit goals. One goal shouldn't make a player of the year, should it? I know we live in a generation where it's all about the moments of glam and everyone forgets everything in between, but no, I'd pick 3 or 4 players above Bellingham, really. Agree, Gahey was fantastic in the summer. He's got to be starter for us from here. Gate 102 podcast. Gahey seems a top person as well, top player, great attitude and character, and that's important, isn't it? You know, these good characters, and I think that's what's helped England over these past few years, is that there's so many good characters in this dressing room, and as long as they keep coming through and having a positive impact, we'll be all right, because that is what international management is. Getting a group of lads together in a short space of time, making sure they get on and they play simple football. It's as simple as that. A cohesive dressing room is 50% of the way there. Players like Gahey epitomise that. Bellingham was just a clutch player. I'd probably say Pickford was our best player, but ironically it was probably his worst tournament for England, which shows how high a level he has been for England. Yeah, mate, he's class. He's England's best goalkeeper ever. Oh, hang on. England's best goalkeeper ever for me. I don't know, people won't agree with that, but that's my opinion. If only Bellingham's assist in the final amounted to something, yeah. Trippier, player of the year? No, I mean, he did play out of position the whole tournament, didn't he? But, I mean, he did do a job, but Jesus. I don't get why every single professional footballer can't play two-footed. I don't get it. Someone explain to me. All they do is kick a football around all day. Why aren't all of them two-footed? Euro 2024 was Southgate's worst tournament. It was a hard slog with fewer highlights. I mean, what a slog. I remember after each game, coming on the live streams, a lot of you lot were here. I mean, we were sat here, like, exhausted, like, with boredom, stress, joy. It was the most bizarre tournament. I don't think we'll ever have a tournament like that again. It was the most bizarre summer I have ever had, watching England, by far. I would have never thought England would play that poorly and get to a final. Josh Phillips, Bellingham 2 goals, 1 assist at the tournament, 1 being a wonder goal that kept us in the tournament and got the assist in the final. His performance wasn't always great, but still had good moments, yeah. Good point. Is the vote out there? I didn't see it on England's Twitter. It was, but I'm not sure it's closed. They don't really announce it too much. Let me see. So this is what they put up on Twitter. England's men's player of the year. Let me see if I can get on it. When I went on it last time, either the website's crashed or it's finished. I know they don't leave it open often and for long, and usually the winner's quite unusual. But yeah, I mean, Saka's in with a shout of winning it three times on the bounce. He really is. He really, really is. It was like playing with 10 men with Kane. It was. Harry Maguire, player of the year. Not sure about that. Kane was incredibly joint top goal scorer. Beaming. That says a world, doesn't it, about the state of that tournament over the summer. Jesus. How on earth was Kane joint top goal scorer? That's madness. To be fair, Kane was clearly not fit, but yeah, Kane was pretty crap. He was pretty crap. He was terrible. I mean, he scored goals, but he was playing with 10 men. He really was playing with 10 men. I was in the main Berlin fan zone when Palmer scored. Oh, mate. I mean, when Palmer scored, you just think... It was weird because you just think, the fucking hell have we scored that? There's no way we're going to come back in this game. But then there was that glimmer of hope and we started to play better and then it all went to shit again. Sat back and it all just went to pot. So, very disappointing. Bohemian player fatigue seems to have finally caught up with the players and damaging the product that Uefa are so keen to flog to death with even more games. Ironically, Kane was once the top goal scorer. I mean, Bohemian, you can't disagree, but I think there was a really interesting statistic, because obviously everyone was talking about this during the Euros, about why do all the teams look knackered. So they put a stats up, actually, of all the national teams and how much minutes all their players had played in the domestic season. And Spain were above England. The Spanish players had played more minutes on average than the English players had. Yet they just looked completely fresh. So I don't know, it's weird, but there's no doubt most teams, or all teams really, apart from Spain, look absolutely knackered. FIFA and UEFA are damaging international football. Can't understand the structure of Nations League quality and the 2018 World Cup. Well, what about the state of the Champions League now? Why ruin something that's completely fine? The new group thing's ridiculous. I think the group stage worked absolutely fine before. The League Cup as well. Some interesting points actually coming out over this past week online regarding the League Cup and the FA Cup. So a couple of tweets I've heard here. So without my discretion, we've just casually rigged the League Cup draw and taken away FA Cup replays. The English football pyramid is well and truly dead, as long as it pleases fans who have never stepped foot in our stadiums. So with clubs playing in Europe now being kept apart from each other in the Carabao Cup, it's probably time we reform the competition so that if you're playing Europe, you don't compete in the League Cup. Ridiculous to give them an advantage they literally do not need. So, I mean, this Carabao League Cup thing, it's just... Yeah, I mean, they don't listen to fans, do they? They don't listen to the fans. It's just stupid. It's just, I mean, there's more games now. There's more games in the Champions League. I don't know how they squeeze them in, but... The Nation League games aren't extra. They're just replacing the friendlies. Yeah, I mean, that is... I mean, in terms of international games, there is no extra. I mean, if you remember, not under Sven, let's go back to Sven. Under Sven, we used to play 6 friendly games a year. I mean, we barely play 1, maybe 2 now a year. And if you remember, Sven used to make 10 changes at half time, and they just got ridiculous. So I think the Nations League's been a great thing. I really do. It's more competitive football that I'm not sure everyone likes, those who prefer club football to international football, but I'm more for it from an international fan perspective. The fact is that competitive matches are more fun to watch. Simple as that for me. Even I was getting a bit bored of playing pointless friendlies, really. Tom Briscoe, I'm pretty confident. Why not see the end of Kane? Hopefully Carsley can implement a system that plays to his strengths. Appreciate. Many will disagree. He's still an elite striker. He's going to be a problem. He's going to have to wean him out. The similar fashion, actually, to the way Southgate gradually saw Rooney through to the end of his career when he came in. I think Carsley is now doing the same with Kane. He's going to have to. He is going to have to. Because he's not going to be able to lead the line. I mean, I don't want him to lead the line going into the World Cup. I really don't. But the problem is who's coming through. We just got to hope Ollie Watkins carries on the way he is. But he's not. He's a different player, isn't he? Completely different player. England might have to build a B team like Argentina, Brazil, USA plays from Championship. I don't know. Competitive games are more intensive than friendlies. I don't mind National League. I just think it should replace qualifiers as well. Yeah, I mean, I think qualification probably will get an overhaul in European football. Possibly. Yeah, I can see that happening. I think there's been a long argument for some of these, England versus San Marino. What do any of us get out of it? But I'm not against that. Some of these teams, it's nice for them to have a day out, isn't it? Or to play some of the bigger nations. Kane will only have one more birthday before the World Cup. I'd love to see Nations League replace a lot of qualifying games. However, it would give the competition a purpose. Okay. I mean, I like the Nations League. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's another trophy England have the potential of winning. Not now, obviously, because we stunk the place out at the last Nations League group stage, but we need to get back into that league. I want, this should be England versus Spain, France, Germany, all these sorts of teams now. But instead we've got it's disrespect. Ireland, Finland, and Greece. I mean, it's just not the same, is it? It's just not the same. Kane scored 40 plus goals for Bayern last season. Let's not overreact for 7 games, which he was clearly injured. Yeah, no, good point, mate. Good point. If Kane left, who do you think would make a good captain? Unpopular opinion, but I think a few years Kane would make a good England. In a few years, Kane would make a good England captain. Do you mean someone else, Luke? Great to have you with us. I think Declan Rice is probably the next England captain. I mean, do captains matter now? I hope they do, but it feels like captains are something from 15, 20 years ago when it really mattered who was England captain or a captain of a club. And I'm not sure I don't know. Do they have the same impact? What's everyone else's thoughts? Nations League shouldn't replace qualifiers because then if a team gets good, they'd have to climb up the leagues to qualify. Unfortunately, yeah, I think there's two sides to every story. The women's fixtures have already started the Nations League for yours qualifiers. I hope we see Anthony Gordon get a chance and maybe Sterling returning if he regains his form. I think Anthony Gordon and Palmer, 2 players that you just, come on now, let's bloody see them. Let's actually see them play some games for England and see what they can do. So they're coming off the bench with 15 minutes to go. Do you think we'll ever see Sterling play again for England? I think he'll do really well at Arsenal. Look, yeah, I mean, you can't say never. If he does really well at Arsenal, he'll come in. It's as simple as that. The problem is he is still in that area of the pitch where England are so blessed. It all depends on everybody else's form and how Palmer and Gordon and Saka and all these other players get on. But there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent coming through. When the Nations League becomes older and more prestigious, then let's treat it like a second Euro. Still want us to win it, but that's just my 2 cents. Absolutely. I mean, I treat it as a second Euros now, mate. I'd have loved us to have won it the first time. Absolutely loved it. I mean, bloody hell. All of us in here, I presume all of us in here, England fans, we've not won a tournament, lads. Lads, ladies, whoever's in here. We've not won a tournament, like, almost in ever. Now, for most of us, probably all of us in this chat, ever, we've never won a tournament in our lifetime. So I ain't going to sniff my nose at the Uefa Nations League at all. Not sure Rice can even be certain of his place in the team. Well, look, Rice had a poor Euros, didn't he? I thought he was one of England's worst players at the Euros. I really do. I think he was so poor. Luke Nuttall just finished a long shift. Oh, good, mate. Hope you're okay. Hope you're winding down. Grab yourself a brew. Anyone can be captain at the end of the day, whether they're wearing the armband or not. Yeah, I do think captains, or this, the prestige and the hoo-ha around who's captain and stuff like that. I don't think it really matters now. I don't think the press are as bothered. Can you remember when Capello resigned, didn't he, over John Terry captaincy or some issues around that, didn't he? So, but I think it's quite old school. But I think there's leaders in that team. I think there's leaders. There's going to be. I mean, Maguire, who God knows if he's still knocking around, he could be captain. Pickford, I mean, he's a bit angry, isn't he, to be captain? I don't know. John Stones, maybe. There is going to be players in there that you think, yeah, they could be leaders. But there's a young squad there now. Declan Rice should 100% be captain when Kane isn't playing anymore. I think he will be. I think he'll be the most likely. I meant Rice, mate. Rice, mate. Would make a good captain, says Lou. Yeah, I thought he did, mate. I did think he did. You see White told Carsley he's still not available for England selection. Yeah, mate. Sod him. I've said this before. Just, for me, you don't get picked again. But I'm very biased because I think getting picked for England is a massive honour. I can't believe you got the... I don't know. I know why he's not popular, but it's not good to carry a player who doesn't want to be there. Absolutely not, mate. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about the dressing room earlier, talking about that dressing room cohesion. Even if he said he wanted to come back in, would you have him? Would you, if you're Lee Carsley, your first squad, would you want all that baggage, all that crap? I wouldn't. There's no way. If I was Lee Carsley, even if I thought, and I think we all do, I think White's a good player, and he's in a position where all of a sudden now we're looking at who can replace these long-established players. But I wouldn't have picked him, even if he was available. No way. Often captains mirror the manager. Yeah. Champions League rules the roosts. Quite sad to think about it, considering Red Star Belgrade, Marseille, Ajax, Porto lost out due to Bosman ruling. Carragher sat out England between 07 and 10. Carrick and a couple of others also sat out during international breaks. Yeah, I just don't agree with it. I'm really happy Morgan Gibbs-White has been called up, rated him highly for the last few seasons, was brilliant for Carsley at under-21s level we won. Yeah, I mean, Gomez under Carsley has really, really stood out. I remember watching the Euros tournament. Obviously, Carsley won with under-21s last year, and Gomez was way, way, way beyond his years. I think he's going to be a big player. I really do. I really, really do. Madueke is interesting. I've seen him live a couple of times. Went to watch the under-21s at the Forest Ground. End product is an issue. End product is probably he's all fireworks. No bang at the minute. But let's see if he can improve that. I was worried after Walker because I thought he was going to be the long-term successor to him due to White's tantrum. But we have called up Tino and Lewis. We should be fine. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm very surprised about Gibbs White, but he'll exploit this opportunity possible to move to a bigger club. I mean, look, you're right. Gibbs White, Colwill, Gomez, Madueke, all of these players have had good form under Carsley. You know it's hard to use them. He knows the best positions. I mean, he literally knows them since they were kids. So if anyone's going to get the best out of him in an England shirt, it's going to be him, including, some of these other senior players that are already in the squad. So should Rico Lewis be... I was thinking Rico Lewis left back, actually, Matt's channel. I thought he would go left back. I really did. But all of a sudden, England, with Southgate leaving, there's a whole host of, exciting chances, but a lot of areas where you think England now need to bring the next breed through, the next set of players, next set of quality to come through. Not all will stick. Some of this won't work. We're naive to think that every single one of these players is going to come in and even have a fantastic career, never mind a good career with England. Some of these will drop off. It's the inevitability of football. It happens. We've all been here. Let's hope, though, more often than not, they come good and they get it right. Gibbs White is our, 8th choice, number 10. I don't know, mate. I think the problem is you want as many opportunities as you can possibly have, and I don't know. I think it's worth looking at. Livramento can play left back. Yeah, I mean the problem is all the left backs we've got there are like they can play there, but then they also play here. It's like how solid are they all? Miroslav Klose and Podolski, classic cases of country before club. Yeah, we need a bit of that. Definitely need a bit of that. It's exciting times though. I mean, I'm thoroughly looking forward to the game. It's, of course, this Saturday. Dublin, interesting. First competitive game, against Ireland in over 30 years. Very interesting opening match. Lee Carsley, this is his interview now. This is his chance to go out there and say, I'm going to have this job. And like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail on what I think about the Irish, because that video is coming Tuesday night. So please subscribe again if you're not. But I'll drop a video Tuesday night. But I think it's a good game. It's a good game. That's all I'll say for Lee Carsley to step into. Really good game. I'm no Gallagher fan, but at least he's under a good coach. I mean, yeah, I didn't even mention Gallagher, actually, moving to Atletico. I mean, what's everyone's opinions on that? I think it's a great move. I think we'll really get to see what he's like. He's certainly a good coach. He'll get that little bit of edge about him as well, which I think he needs. I think he'll get that. He's got the energy. We just need that little bit of quality and that little bit of edge. But Simeone's clearly seen something in him. I think it's a really, really good shout. Lewis Hall is a left-footed up-and-coming left-back. Yeah, a good player as well, really good player. He also mentioned liking Walker-Peters due to a full-back cutting in. So, yeah, could do. So you could be right. Lewis could be our next left-back. The Carsley derby. Yes, actually, you're right. Livramento regularly plays there for Newcastle, whereas Rico covers there for City. I mean, look, Rico does play for City at full-back, so he's clearly a good player. Let's see what he can do. I mean, again, it is a very, very attacking squad, and under 21 level, you can play. You can play more attacking football. Most definitely, you can play more attacking football, but he's going to have to balance it. Lee Carsley can't go all out attack. So it'll be interesting to see how he does there. He's already at the edge. He was top 5 of the league for 4 last seasons. I'd start a strong team, so if we win it, there'll be more room versus Finland, more room to experiment versus Finland. Okay, brilliant. I get what you mean. Right, so we've discussed the moves, we've discussed Trippier's retirement, we've obviously mentioned Sven, Lee Carsley's squad, we've had a look at the fixtures. I think we've covered a lot. We've covered an awful lot. And and I've really enjoyed it, but my foot is actually starting to hurt now. So I am going to cut it, not short, but how long have we been going for? 50 minutes, just shy of an hour. So that's pretty good going. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be doing a podcast with Russell on the Three Lines podcast, so look out for that. Dropping this week. And then Tuesday night, I will be dropping my preview video for England versus Ireland. So I'll give my full thoughts on the match, plus a score prediction. I think, you know what, I don't do too bad on score predictions, but I think it's a tough one to call, this one, so check that one out. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back Tuesday night and you'll see a lot more of me, and hopefully you'll see me Sunday night as well. I'll try and keep these Sunday clubs going now much more regular, hopefully with my foot getting on the mend. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's been another great hour killed on a Sunday afternoon. I think it's a great time to do it. Let me know in the comments as well after the video's posted what any ideas you want to do in terms of an interactive thing. I might start doing a quiz like I said. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if you've got any thoughts. So yeah, great to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Gate 102, brilliant show, Gary, and appreciate you giving me a shout out before as well. I hope your foot gets better and enjoy the game on Saturday. Yes, you too, mate, and I hope your podcast goes extremely well. I'm sure it will. Bohemian later, go key safe. Yep. Brilliant, lads. Thank you all. And ladies, not sure who's who, but thank you all so much for watching. I've absolutely loved this. It's took my mind off a pretty crap week. So hope you all have a great week at work, and I will definitely see you all a couple of times next week. Thank you all for watching.